from Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hello, Screen Junkies, and welcome to a star-studded episode of Movie Fights. I'm actually genuinely excited here. We have some amazing people to fight some amazing battles, including pitch your ultimate Boba Fett spinoff movie, who should play the Punisher in the MCU, and reaction to that Suicide Cast pick that came out. He's really just, David Ayers just sending us lots and lots really early, good or bad, we're taking it, and we're going to talk about it. So, as always, if you don't like something we're talking about, you can always pick your fight in the bottom right-hand corner on YouTube. So don't leave if a fight's boring. Just go to the next fight. We have so many fights here for you to watch. They're all going to be exciting, and I know this panel is going to bring it, and it's going to be a really heated debate. So stay tuned to all of them. Also, always got to remind you, we have a new RSS feed on iTunes. We have 2 feeds that are going. That's a little confusing, and I apologize. But please, go to our YouTube, watch the link in the description below. Go click on that one and make sure you've subscribed, rated, and commented, because that's the only way you're going to get the new ones week to week. And we need your support so we can get high ratings and keep going on iTunes. So thanks for your help there. Before we get to this really quick, I want to thank so much cool fan art keeps coming in that we just have to call some of these out. So don't stop. We love it. It feeds our egos. It's great. But right now, I got to thank, particularly, if we can cue it up there, is from Stan Nelson. I love this one.
I'm Bill Murray.
Adorable.
Where'd they get that picture of me?
Dan. Nick and I are your children.
That is legal smoke.
You know, I kind of feel...
That is legal smoke.
I kind of feel like you're my children sometimes.
Shut up, Dad.
And Stuckmann made it in there. How did he know you were going to be there?
I think I must
How does
have
Hal get to
mentioned
be
it.
Luke Wilson?
Well,
though?
smart
That's a
move.
stretch. That is a stretch.
I'm just happy I'm Bill Murray.
Yeah. Anyway, very good job there. Thank you so much for that, Mr.
Also,
Nelson.
watch Royal Tenenbaums. I feel like some of you probably haven't watched that movie. Watch it. Turn off
It's a good
Ultron.
movie.
Yeah.
I still prefer Rushmore. That's a separate show.
We should. Why are we talking about that?
Okay.
Close.
Let's meet our fighters. Cue the clip.
Today's fighters are Pat Healy, actor in Cheap Thrills, first-time fighter. Chris Stuckmann, film critic, first-time fighter. Nick Mundy, Screen Junkies resident fixer, 4 wins, 4 losses.
All right. Now, I got to introduce this amazing panel. I'm so happy to have him here. He's done so many amazing films, Cheap Thrills, Compliance, Amazing Innkeepers, and you may have seen him in Winter Soldier. It's Pat Healy.
Hello, thank you. So glad to be here.
Honored to have you
I
here,
feel so
sir.
outclassed, but I'm happy to be here.
You're the best person.
Fantastic.
I don't know where
work.
that voice came from. I'm sorry.
Definitely the best actor on this panel, hands down. Sorry.
No, he is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you guys.
But thank
I'll
you
take
so
your
much.
word for
Honored
it.
to have you here. We respect you, but they may yell at you, so we
Oh, that's
apologize.
fine.
in
I
advance.
love being yelled at.
Next to him, you have demanded him to be here. We took notice, and he has flown out, and he is here, and we are honored to have him, Mr. Chris Stuckmann.
Thank you very much for having me here. And thanks, guys, for demanding me, I guess. I'm in demand, but that's pretty cool. I'm excited. I've watched every...
You are in demand.
I've watched every episode of Movie Fights. I'm a super fan. Like, I love the show. I watch it before I go to bed sometimes.
Who's your
I'm
favorite?
serious.
Who's your favorite?
Yeah,
fighter?
who do you dream about?
Who am I sitting next to?
Who's your favorite?
You're my favorite. I requested you.
Yeah,
I was like, I want Nick Mundy on the show.
All right.
Like, I need to be with Nick Mundy.
And then I woke up, got in the chair, and let's do it.
We woke up next to each other, actually.
I sleep in the dad
Take
couch.
the hat off, and you'll prove it.
I thought we woke up next to each other.
No, we're gonna spoon that.
Speaking of the one he's speaking about, he's best friends with The Rock. He really is. They like tweet at each other all the
Oh,
time.
awesome.
It's kind of amazing. It's Nick Mundy.
Hey guys, welcome back, me.
How's Observe and Report doing, Nick?
Nothing to report.
Oh, sorry. That's the Seth Rogen movie.
That was a real mistake? I thought
He's
it was...
plugged it every 5 seconds. How did I forget the name?
I love that.
I loved it. How is nothing to
It's
report?
doing great. It's doing great. Thank
Where
you
do
guys
people
for watching.
see it?
On Comedy Central and their YouTube channel. So
It's with you and Chris Jericho,
Chris
right?
Jericho, yeah.
That's
it's
a
great.
score. I've seen you and Chris doing the rounds.
We've been doing the media. We did Loveline last night.
Wow.
I
Chris, what the hell? Come on, Movie Fights.
He's ready to do it. He's ready to make me cry.
But it's been going well.
Yeah,
Everyone, where do they
doing
see it? ComedyCentral.com?
ComedyCentral.com, their YouTube channel, and their app. So go watch it. It's a lot of
It's
fun.
really
It
funny.
is really funny. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
We have real squibs.
Yes.
We have real
Like an
squibs.
old buddy cop. It's
I'm sold.
web
No, I'm watching
sitcom.
now.
It's really, really fantastic.
I'm naked half the time.
He
Okay,
is.
I'm out.
I wasn't going to say. Julian
with
out there.
squibs.
Real squibs.
Naked squibs.
All right,
Pat's gonna
before
be in season 2.
I'm not going to forget him this time. He's the man over there on the couch that keeps us all sane and honest. It's Dan Murrell.
I love it.
Undefeated movie fights champion.
What a high standard, just to not be forgotten. That's all I
Hey,
hope
there's
for now.
other Dan Murrell.
Dan, anything you'd like to say? Have a quick second to yourself.
Dynamite.
Yeah, good to see you guys. This is a great panel. I'm excited for
Great to
today's
see
show.
you, Dan.
And I'm excited for next week, Andy.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, let's cue that right now, right? Next week, while they've asked for you, Mr. Stuckmann, a lot, there's one group they've asked for even further, and that group is CinemaSins. And next week, CinemaSins, I'm getting out of this judging chair, and I'm bringing that man from the couch, and the Honest Trailer crew is taking the CinemaSins duo down! I'm calling it here! How exciting is that? So Honest Trailers versus CinemaSins next week on Movie Fights. People are like, crap, can I stop this fight and go watch that one? No.
No, still watch this one.
Yeah, please.
But for real, we're really excited to have Jeremy and Chris from CinemaSins next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're bringing in a non-biased judge. We're going to finally settle it down. Who's going to win in Movie Fights, CinemaSins or Screen Junkies? I
Monday
bet you it's going to
Cam?
be big.
Monday
So
Cam?
tune in next week. We're excited. I know you guys are too, so get excited. All right, now, there's a t-shirt store. Go support that. It's in the description below. I've done it a bunch. You guys all know the rules, right?
Yeah.
Pat, you may not, but I'm basing it on passion and creativity, so make sure you're not just arguing your favorite, but you're taking those two down as well.
Got it.
That's the most important.
You can
It's not about
literally-
what I like. It's about the best
Look,
argument
it's
here.
my first time out. If I'm not great, I'm learning. Don't be so hard.
Pat,
on me,
you
all
can
right?
literally convince someone that Jackass the movie is better than Superman the
It's
movie.
happened.
That's
did it.
the worst.
Sure.
That's why.
And it was
that's
good.
close. That's
No, I
close.
know.
Yeah.
It was good. He really pulled that one out. All right, let's cue this fight and start it.
Now let's do this!
This is where we fight!
Fight!
Round one. Two big pieces of Star Wars news hit this week. The second spin-off movie will be about Boba Fett, and we lost its director, Josh Trank. Let's not speculate on why. There's been a lot of that. I don't want to support that, but he's out. So we know it's a Boba Fett movie. Fight one. Pitch us your Boba Fett spin-off movie and its dream director. Everyone makes sense? And we're going to start with you, Pat.
Okay, so when I was a kid, Star Wars was huge. And before Empire Strikes Back came out, they announced that Kenner toys were huge. And they announced that they were going to release this special figure, this character that was going to be in Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett. That's the first time anybody heard anything about Boba Fett. I think there's some mention in some fan magazine around 79 or something like that. And it came, we ordered it, it came in a little white box, and that was the figure, and you had no idea what he was going to be. And in the early ones, because the Battlestar Galactica toys had these launching rockets and kids were actually choking on it, the rocket pack on his, some of those went out, but then we got the ones after that. So those ones are worth a lot of money. My point is that there were many script revisions, I guess, in the time between the toy came out and when the movie happened, so that he's really not much of a character at all. And it's just been this sort of like cult figure and all these things. I mean, he's a guy in a suit and a mask. And I would love to see a Charlie Kaufman Boba Fett movie that is completely meta, where one part of it is Boba Fett just sort of on the fringes of the Star Wars universe, trying to figure out like how he is part of this. Maybe we see like, you know, the action of the other parts of the movie. He's just totally like lame and trying like making lame attempts to try and like insert himself into the things, and even when he does get Han Solo, it's kind of like he just kind of stumbled into it somehow. And then maybe even go super meta and have him like realize that he was just invented. This is almost like Toy Story like mashup, like where he realizes that he was just invented just to sell more toys, and it just causes this crazy existential dilemma. That's a movie that I would love to see.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's not what I expected. I want to hear more, but let's hear from you, Mr. Stuckmann, first.
First off, that's a really funny idea. I think it'd make like a great YouTube web series or something, but not a theatrical film because
Nothing to
there's
report.
just too many Yes, good job. You have a show with people in it.
So do you.
And it's good.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you being here. I'm glad we're friends.
But seriously, like if you release that movie in theaters, I think the majority of Star Wars fans would probably be like, I don't know if this is what I want to see. It's a funny idea, but my idea.
I'm not thinking of them. I'm thinking of me.
Well,
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's
it
the
is
right
your-
attitude.
your idea.
That's the right attitude.
It is your idea. Mine is there's been speculation for years about Boba Fett and the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi because he's one of the coolest villains of Star Wars lore. And yes, he didn't have much to him as a character, but every kid who grew up watching those movies loved Boba Fett, who wanted to know more about Boba Fett. And when he accidentally got knocked into the Sarlacc pit and just, that's it, That was really disappointing for a lot of people. A lot of people wanted to see more of that character. Expanded universe novels for years had entire storylines about him surviving the Sarlacc pit, that he created maybe a faction down there of people who had armor on, who survived the digestion process and were able to escape. And now that the new Star Wars film is coming out, all of those novels and stories are no longer part of the expanded universe anymore. They've been deemed not actually happening. So there's a whole bunch of people who are wondering, did Boba Fett actually die? Some people are speculating he'll come back in the new Battlefront game, which is canon. So mine is, it's the first shot in the movie, literally the first shot after the credits and the big Star Wars music, is this strange stomach-like thing, and you see Boba Fett land, and the camera zooms in on him, and he's brushing himself off, and you realize he's just landed in the Sarlacc pit. And the entire film is about how he escapes from the Sarlacc pit, the people that he meets down there that actually survived the digestion process, whatever, they had armor on, robotic plates, whatever that helped them survive that process. It's about how he survives, how he escapes, and it finally tells the fans, did Boba Fett survive, or was he eaten, and is that the end of the coolest character in the Star Wars universe?
So it's like a prison movie, but inside an alien's stomach.
You could call it that, and it would be directed by Brad Bird. And now, look, I've had the privilege. I can't say anything about it because I'm super embargoed. I saw Tomorrowland. This guy is an incredible filmmaker. This guy knows how to direct this kind of thing, and he would be perfect for it.
Great.
In the belly of the beast.
Great
Good
title.
tagline, too. All right, Nick, where's your take?
Okay, so my Boba Fett movie is Fett Unleashed by Quentin Tarantino. And we're talking 70s, like, Delphonic scored Quentin Tarantino, 2:3:5 aspect ratio. It starts off just like Chris's, but it's going to get better, in the Sarlacc pit. And guess what? He's been hanging out in the Sarlacc pit for a couple years, just waiting, biding his time. And guess what? He ran out of cigarettes. So now it's time to claw out of the pit. That's the title sequence. And he gets there, and guess what? Someone stole his Slave One. Someone stole his ship. It's Rhoda the Hutt, Jabba's son. And you know what? A lot of Jabba's friends helped him steal it. And now Boba Fett is going to kill and destroy the Star Wars universe, getting his ship back. Because no one F's with the mother effing Boba Fett. So we're going to see...
No one S's with?
S.
Oh, okay.
S. I just stopped. Yeah. So you're going to see the most...
I want to make sure I understood.
The most violent rated R revenge film in the Star Wars universe by Quentin Tarantino. Of him killing everything to get his Slave One back. And guess what? That's not all. So, of course, there's going to be a giant... there's also going to be a giant, space battle where the bad guys have the Slave One going against Boba Fett. That sucks, right? His own ship against him. Guess what he does? Steals the Millennium Falcon. And then he's controlling the Millennium Falcon to get his ship back. This is Quentin Tarantino's Boba Fett.
All right. What do you guys think of each other's pitches?
I like both of them. I legitimately think they'd be really funny ideas. But to me, they're fan fiction ideas. Like, they're ideas that you could go and make like a really great fan fiction about. And beyond that actually happening in a movie, I think Quentin Tarantino directing a Star Wars movie would be really interesting, but I also don't think it's ever going to happen because he's way too controlling and of his source material, and it's all got to be his thing. And I can't ever see him directing a movie that's not rated R. And I don't think they're ever going to make a rated R Star Wars movie. So it's a really funny idea. I just don't really think that it would work as a film. I think that what Star Wars fans...
But it's the best idea. And it's the most, it's the fun. I love your idea. I would watch that. I would be on...
Pat's idea.
Pat's. I'd be on stuff.
He was making a marijuana reference.
Or more, plus.
Yeah.
But... Thank you.
I saw a Quaalude between his
that was
fingers.
Quaalude.
Yeah.
But you call ours fan fiction. Yours is just expanded universe books.
And how many more of those do we need? I mean, there's already 20, movies out there.
I think we need it if it's Boba Fett, because Boba Fett is one of the most talked about characters for the past 30 years about what happened to his history. Tons of fans want to know.
And you mentioned canon. Is he still the sad Maori kid that we were introduced to in the prequels?
We're not going to talk about that.
That's what I'm saying.
And no, he won't be, because he'll be an adult. He's not going to be the kid that George Lucas stupidly cast in Attack of the Clones. This is after that. He's an adult. He's a badass now. He's no longer some kid who looks like, he's excited to go on to the fair later with his dad.
Yeah.
He's Boba Fett. He's a badass.
But exactly, and mine's the only one that showcases how badass He is. He's like this badass renegade bounty hunter who's more perfect to direct that, a revenge flick, than Quentin Tarantino, rather than dudes getting digested in a stomach, like, and hanging out with his like stomach pals. Like it's Boba and the stomach pals.
You're very funny, Nick.
Coming from Brad.
You have a great way of saying funny.
Clearly, this is the most commercial idea and it satisfies fans and all that stuff. But what do we want to sit? What do I want to sit and watch?
Well, is that what I should be judging this on? You think though? Like,
I don't know.
I think it's what would be like the one that
you asked us what our dream version of it is,
what's the most fun?
Why is your dream version? And all three of yours released, because I think that's a fair point. Yours is true fan fiction. Yours is fan fiction going crazy violent, and yours is definitely more artsy. How do you involve the Star Wars universe? Because it's not just about one of us. It's about that family and that world. So
well, if you're having,
how does yours toy in, and how do we ensure that yours isn't just pleasing one person versus the masses?
If you're having offshoot movies, and they've announced 2 now, and one is about the group with the plans to steal the Death Star, right? Is that it? So that's taking place before the events of the first movie.
Right.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're already veering into this idea of like things taking place outside of the universe. It's like, why not give somebody? Yes, I know it's not a rich commercial idea that they're going to put $200-300 million into. I'm aware of that, but like, do I really want to keep seeing the same thing over and over again? We'll see when we see this new movie how good it is, and I am looking forward to it, especially at the last trailer. But everybody is on tenterhooks because of what happened last time. We all got screwed, and it's like, is that going to happen again? Because people want to satisfy fans, and I think it's just a huge miscalculation. Marvel obviously has done it right because they are also hiring unique, good filmmakers to write good scripts, and they don't ride people too hard. So it satisfies the fans, and also they make good movies. But like, you can't just make these movies like, based on like what people write in comment sections, Dude, no offense, I know many of you are watching this, but like, that you're also the people that are complaining that the movies are bad. So I'm just saying.
So does yours open up? Does yours open up? Is it just a standalone film, and it's just a sort of experimental standalone film?
Yeah, you'll see like it'll be cool because you'll see like the moments when he like it links up to things that we recognize, and you see him like on the outside of it.
But are we then? Is it Lego Movie where we are implying that these are all not a real universe and these are toys?
I think that's like and I'm ruining it obviously for you all, but like I think that's like a end of Act 1 or end of Act 2, like brain melter, like that's a Fight Club. Like,
but does that imply that the whole universe is a toy?
No,
just him.
Yeah.
Or he's envisioning himself.
Or maybe
he's on
like Synecdoche,
Quaaludes.
New York. It's a fantasia. It's his inside his mind, and it's his meditation on what's going on.
All right, I heard it, and then give me. I'm just getting quick last spiels,
Sure.
and then feel free to give me one last take on.
Now
why
I'm telling you, I can't say anything about the movie, but I swear to you, once you guys see Tomorrowland, you're gonna understand why Brad Bird is the director for this movie. Now, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie or anything, but there are so many things in Tomorrowland that are Star Wars. There's an entire Star Wars scene. Anyway.
Does the embargo drop Sunday?
The embargo drops in a few weeks or something.
Okay.
I can't say anything else about it. He is the perfect director for this movie. He understands how to make really incredible sequences. Now, the thing about my film is that it's not going to have a space battle. It's not going to have a lightsaber thing where it's not going to have like the cliched Star Wars stuff. It is different. It's a contained suspense movie in one place. You could do that on the cheap. You could do that on the budget side. You wouldn't have to have crazy green screen environments. You could do a lot of prosthetics and animatronics work. Imagine all the crazy crap the Sarlacc's gobbled up, stuff that he would be finding in these little coves and caverns. It'd be really suspenseful. It'd be a tense film, and that's what I would go. I would go for the very tense, maybe even a little more on the horror side. I mean, Boba Fett is in a completely unknown environment. He has nothing but one gun and his blaster pack, which he's not going to fly around the Sarlacc pit.
He's basically inside a guy's asshole,
Yeah.
right?
Essentially, but how frightening would that be?
Yeah. Like
I could play the enzyme digesting Vip
the South Park
like when the Falcon is hanging out inside
Yeah.
the thing, and they realize and they fly out
The
of the
worm
creature's
thing,
mouth.
yeah.
It's the same thing, but it flies out of
Look, these
Right,
are all
right.
these are all
Yeah,
good
go ahead,
ideas,
Nick.
but here's the thing: no one blends art and commerciality better than Quentin Tarantino. And these Star Wars movies, like, look, we want to see different types of movies in these spinoffs. That's what they're really going to do. So let's see I'm not joking, let's see a rated R movie. Let's see a violent movie. This guy's supposed to be a badass. We've never seen him badass. We've seen Lando hit, or Hal, I'm sorry. Not Hal. Harrison Ford hit him in the back of the jetpack and then fall in the pit, and he's kind of like a pussy. So let's see him be a total badass. And Quentin Tarantino's the perfect guy to blend, do a perfect revenge violent movie that is will look amazing and feel different than every other Star Wars movie.
All right, making a rolling, because I want to watch all 3 of these movies, but it's not about what I want to watch. It's about the thing in hand and your arguments. And I think I do want to see them all. To be perfectly honest, there's something fun in all 3 of these, but I think I'm settling with Chris.
Yes!
Because Chris is a little bit more grounded in reality, and I think he knocks you both down because yours both do feel a little bit more too fan fiction-y and singular to the greater universe, which I think he's also.
I'm leaving.
Very good round, a very fun round. Stuckmann's on the board with 1. Round 2. Dan, anything to clean up before we move on?
Just very quickly, Boba Fett's first appearances at the 1978 San Anselmo County Fair Parade. He marched in the parade. That was the very first time he was ever seen.
Cowboy on a
Good
horse.
job, man.
And he also appeared in the infamous Star Wars holiday special.
Yes.
Oh, God.
How can we forget that?
Yes.
All right.
My
Yeah,
Star Wars
last
movie
weekend
was
we got
by
our-
the Delphonics. I just want to.
Sorry, last weekend we got our first look at the full cast of Suicide Squad from David Ayer. At QWERTY Burl asked us, which Suicide Squad member looked the best? We got a picture. There's the question, but there it is. What do we think? They're showing a lot of them up there. There's a lot of people. Gotta love Jai Courtney, right? Just
No.
because.
He's the greatest actor of our generation.
But definitely some surprises in there.
I
Killer
can't believe that's
Croc.
not Tom Hardy.
I'm
Killer
kidding.
Croc. We get Harley Quinn's first look. All these people. I mean, I'm
Japanese
definitely
masked
intrigued. There's some
lady.
stuff going on. Maybe good, maybe bad.
The guy on
But
the
I'd
right
love-
looks like a Thriller routine dancer.
It looks like Corey Graves, the WWE wrestler.
All right. Well, let's pick out our favorites, and we're starting this time with you, Chris. Who do you
Okay.
who excites you the most?
Well, it's Harley Quinn, obviously. I mean, it just is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is, besides the Joker, the most well-known character in the Suicide Squad, in my opinion, probably. Killer Croc, you could argue for him, maybe Deadshot. But Harley Quinn is by far the fan favorite character because I'm sure, as most of you guys know, Harley Quinn was never actually in the comics. She was invented by Batman the Animated Series. And she was such a popular character on Bruce Timm's series that they brought her into the canon and she became an official character in the Batman comics. Now, that never happens, ever. That's such a cool character. She's become officially associated with the Joker now because of this great cartoon that I grew up watching, that I love. And it's so funny with the way the internet is nowadays. Whenever they announce whoever's going to play the next big comic book person, it's almost always, oh my God, this is so horrible. I hate this. It's so stupid. Like everyone was like, yeah, Margot Robbie, that's great. She's perfect. I don't remember hearing a single negative comment about her. She's a good actress. She's been really good in movies like Wolf of Wall Street.
Until they made her a rave girl at Hot Topic. That's when it became.
Well, hold on.
But Harley Quinn is that kind of character. She wears white makeup. She wears black eyeliner. She gets
It was
weird
also
stuff.
interesting. I don't know if it ever got confirmed, but there was someone on Twitter sent us a leaked photo or something of the. Was that true, Dan?
I think that's-
I haven't seen a hard confirmation. You're talking about her behind the Joker picture that we saw
She's the
doing
one who's been putting the
tattooing?
tattoos on him, is what they're implying.
I haven't
Either
seen hard
that,
confirmation.
that could be fake. It looked a little maybe fake. His hair looked a little more
Hopefully.
green in that photo. I'm serious. I actually examined it. I was like examining. I was like, I don't know about this one, but no.
Figure out who killed JFK. Put those powers to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
internet. All right,
I'll examine it.
We'll continue. Good
Okay.
start. Nick, who are you picking?
All right, just right off the bat, I think this question's flawed because the question should be which Suicide Squad looks less stupid. Pull up the picture. You got Jai Courtney in pajama pants. You got the Hot Topic rave girl. You got the girl from The Ring. You got a girl wearing a plate. You got
Is she wearing a plate?
You got shitty RoboCop just bored out of his mind. You got Will Smith clinging for
The
hope.
girl with the plate is
You
the
gotta-
kabuki woman.
You got the big. You got a killer. Then you got the two weirdos from Thriller wearing Letterman jackets. Here's a guy. I don't even know his name. I'm going with the guy on the left, which is probably what the guy's going to refer to, because he looks the least stupid, and he actually looks functional. He has a rope. He has a gun. And you
Dan,
sure he has
can you give us his real name?
That would be the character
Slipknot? Yeah, it's
yes.
Slipknot. I'm not, but the guy on the left sounds better.
It's
than
the band Slipknot.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, does he
would
play
look
Slipknot
better
before he kills people?
He actually looks like a person in a movie, not this like rave drug-induced MDA like fan fiction or whatever this movie is going to be called. He looks like a normal guy despite the cornrows. It's him because everyone else looks so damn. It's like they're trying so hard to look cool and like interesting that it just comes off like fake and false and just really bullshitty. It just nothing like it's the only picture that's like, okay, that doesn't suck. So,
got it. Pat, who are you picking?
I don't know from Suicide Squad. I mean, I really am not that familiar with it, and I wasn't that excited. I was about as excited about the picture as you seem to be. I am a fan of David Ayer.
Me too.
Even Sabotage, I think, is good, and I like these sort of ensembles that he puts together of these sort of like really like edgy like that movie like everyone's like burnt out like and that seems to be going for the same thing here. I love Margot Robbie, and she's especially good in Craig Zobel's new movie that is going to be coming out, I think, in the fall, Z for Zechariah. She's really remarkable. But I think that the character that I'm probably most excited about is the Killer Croc, just because, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the actor's name, but he played Mr. Echo on Lost.
Dan, do you want to try?
I'll try to mangle it. Adewale Akinwumi Akbaje.
We know what we're talking about, right?
Make a GIF of
It
that.
sounded like Pig Latin when you said it, but I think that guy is just really like he's an exciting force, and he was so great on that show. And I don't know whether he saw where that show was going and got out, before the plane went down in flames. Yeah, he quit, and he was like the most exciting thing. And I think he hasn't been fully utilized. I've seen him in a few other things. He was on another show, I believe. I can't remember, but I think he's really an exciting actor, and so like I would be most excited about that character.
And the makeup doesn't throw you? You think it was an interesting take on?
I first thought
Killer Croc is a crocodile, right? He's like
it's just
giant
he's just a great
crocodile.
actor. It's just too bad we can't see him.
Yeah, he did. I thought they were bringing back Marlon Brando's bloated corpse as Jor-El, resurrected as Jor-El. He's kind of rotting away in a bathtub
that's
somewhere,
called
and he
Man of
comes
Steel.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
My son. But it's hard to tell sometimes these pictures. I know this picture was specifically posed and posted to be.
This was debated and worked on, and they decided, yes,
I
this
guess.
is the best picture.
Yeah.
Because we're smart.
But
because they're going to start shooting, and pictures are going to come out. I imagine they thought.
But
let's
yeah,
get ahead
that's
of
what
it.
I think. Like maybe they did it quickly because like not everyone's there. Obviously, the Joker's not there and things like that. And so like I'm hoping that maybe sometimes you see pictures of people and then you see the movie and it's like they're lit differently, they're shot differently, and it looks completely different. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
It just looks like Mortal Kombat fan fiction, though. It looks like they're at Comic-Con and they got all the Mortal Kombat characters together. And it's like, hey, let's take a picture. Cool. Let's post it and make a movie about it. Like, that's what, like...
So you don't like DC, Nick?
I'm working for DC, so...
I heard Man of
Dan,
Steel wasn't that great.
Dan,
Can I just say, we went out of our way to try to make this a positive round, and somehow Nick just turned the ship right
I
back
went for
around.
it. I went for positive. I went for it.
Look, I'm sorry. Post a cool picture. Like...
All right, so here's the thing.
Chris.
This is a picture, okay? And you've heard this argument. It's just a picture, guys. You shouldn't... It is just a picture, though. And in my opinion, what makes a compelling character is how they're written, it's how it's directed, the script. Those are the performance, of course. Those are the things we latch onto. Heath Ledger could look as cool as he did as a Joker, but if Nolan and if the Nolan brothers hadn't written as good a script as they did, it wouldn't have been as good.
True.
But let me finish. I love you. Here's the thing but here's the thing, though. Margot Robbie, out of that picture, is the one who by far resembles the comics the most. And in the comics and in the original Batman animated series, she's an insane person. She's basically a coke addict, but the Joker is her coke. She can't do anything unless he's there. And just in that one expression she has, I feel that she perfectly embodies what Harley Quinn is.
Where the fuck is he then? Why is he in that picture?
I have a feeling
understand.
they're like, should we put tattoos or should we not? Let's just wait. I think that's what they're doing.
No,
Like,
I also think
know.
they're going to get. I think he's not as involved as they are. I think
Possibly,
That's
yeah.
the rumors I've heard.
He's a consultant
Well,
to
look,
the Suicide
this
Squad.
this
yeah.
movie could be awesome, but the question is, what character looks the best right now? And
Yes, that's what I'm basing.
yeah,
this
Yeah.
And look, Margot Robbie's incredible. I got excited about that casting, and she is this crazy person. But they did the most lazy version of that character. Hey, how are we gonna make something crazy? I don't know. We'll do pigtails and give him a bunch of tattoos.
I mean,
because
that's her
that's what.
character, though.
Her
no, but she
character
never
looks
had
like
that
it, though.
in. Like, I've never seen that version of her in the comics.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
no,
everything
I mean,
needs to look like
it
the
looks a
comics.
lot like the Arkham Asylum Harley Quinn as well for the video game. I mean,
I've never seen it. Just seems like
I
real
saw
lazy.
her in front of the Shakey's Pizza on Santa Monica Boulevard last night, I think.
you saw her with your eyes.
And the
You
killer,
actually saw her. We're
killer-
just debating.
That character, I mean.
I just think like the Slipknot looks like the coolest, and the
You
one
didn't even
that,
know what his name was.
Well,
Like,
I looked it up. I was being a dick.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to call this round just based on the fact that
is
only
Buck-
one person is respecting this.
Is Buckethead one of them? I choose Buckethead. I changed my
So
answer.
while I had fun listening to your rants, I'm going to give it to Chris.
yes!
Out
This
of
is-
respect to the respect to the image.
This is going really well.
Chris is a true fan, and he knows
He earned
where
it.
his bread is
Buckethead
buttered.
would be a good
Dan,
Suicide Squad.
I- mentions.
Out of respect for that great actor, I had to look it up. His name is Adewale Akintoye Agbaje.
There
is
you
how
go.
pronounce
Great.
it.
Good job.
I'm not going to attempt it out of respect to him as
Out of
well.
I
respect for-
apologize
out of
if he's
respect for him.
watching.
I actually am a
am
big
a
fan
big
of him.
fan.
He is
too.
really good. He's really talented.
And he shouldn't be in a big gator mask.
He should be his own person.
Round 3.
I want them to bring Burt Reynolds Gator from Gator.
Oh my God, that would be so much better. Why isn't Burt Reynolds in this movie?
He is.
Oh, God.
All right, we're officially in summer movie season, which is always chock full of sequels and reboots. So Quincy Good at Life is Good asked us the following question. If we could erase a sequel from any franchise, what would it be? And to be clear, because I know you guys submitted and we gave you this notice so you could resubmit again, the movies that might come after would still exist. So you're just eliminating the one movie, and then the following movie would fall into play. So, make sense? Nick, which sequel would you erase from a franchise?
Cool. This question was very easy, but it's very difficult because I feel, and this is my opinion because that's how things work, Die Hard is my favorite movie. I've watched it more than anything. I've based everything that I've ever done, like writing and creating, on Die Hard. I think it's a perfect movie. So I guess it's hubris or life sucks because the worst sequel of all time is Die Hard 5. It is a terrible, garbage movie shot on a GoPro. It makes no sense. It killed Bruce Willis. It's the worst piece of
You mean like it
shit.
killed his heart?
No, it killed everything. It killed Bruce Willis. I think it's an animatronic now. It's the worst. There's not one redeeming quality in the movie. I don't even think it's in focus. Like, it's sad when Jai Courtney's the best actor in the movie. Okay? It's just a terrible,
He's taking a lot of hits today.
stupid, terrible, stupid, awful movie that I can't believe that it's in the Die Hard family, and you can't even argue. You know what sucks? When we argued best action movie franchise, you can't argue Die Hard because of Die Hard 5, because it almost sullies everything because of the terrible awfulness of that movie. It sucks. I'm sorry. You guys can't pick a worse movie than that.
Pat, it's your turn.
I'm going to go on record first and say that I like Die Hard 5, and I've seen it a couple times, and I it's not as good as the other films. Obviously, I don't think the fourth one is as good as the other films either. But I think it's a perfectly fine action movie. I like seeing that character. I think it has
I'm waiting
good
for you to say I'm
sequences.
joking.
It has a carrot-munching henchman.
But
It dances.
if you took out John McClane, it's a generic fine.
That's
Actually,
fine.
It's
I'm not.
That's Die Hard 4.
I don't think
That's
so.
Die Hard 4. Die Hard 5 is fundamentally script. Like
Well,
the way
we'll
they
get
shot
there.
it. Yeah.
I didn't mean to check.
Look. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about what a great movie it is, but I think it's a perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable sequel to a franchise that's been going on forever. I don't understand all the hate for it, and I even went back and watched it again to see what made everybody so angry. And yeah, it's stupid, but I mean, all those movies are stupid. I mean, it's part of the fun to me. I mean, when the helicopter's exploding and they jump out and they give that guy the finger.
The helicopter it was two different types of helicopters in that
Oh,
movie.
man,
It was two different
so good.
colors in the movie.
What?
Who gives a shit?
I know
your
exactly.
point?
No, I know what he's talking about. I know the scene.
It also takes place at Chernobyl. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
does.
All
Cuts
right,
down on
well,
extras.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
what's your pick?
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy. It's kind of an easy target. But Godfather 3, which again, I don't even think it's that bad of a movie. There are certainly parts of it that are awful, but you have two perfect movies, and in my opinion, the second film is perfection. And not only is it the better film, I mean, I say it's the better film. I like it better. I want to watch it more. I could watch it over and over again. Both films are great. The second one can't exist without the first one, so you kind of got to give the first one some credit. But then it has a perfect ending. I mean, it has this amazing Greek tragedy ending where this guy and everything that he hoped for and he's just completely alone, and he's alienated and destroyed, everything and everyone, around him, and he doesn't really even know why. And then you bring on this movie that was made purely for financial reasons. I mean, they will even admit it now, 16 years later, and it doesn't have Robert Duvall. It doesn't have, it unfortunately has Sofia Coppola, as Pacino's daughter. It has all of these things. It's just that those movies are the pinnacle of filmmaking. Those, you could ask most people what the best movie ever made is, and I think most people would probably answer The Godfather. I'm not saying maybe you guys, but I'm saying like it's pretty accepted common knowledge, and it would just be like somebody making a sequel to Citizen Kane or Taxi Driver now or something. It just should never have happened. And I have this thing about other movies like Ghostbusters and Airplane where it's just like those movies are perfect, and those sequels are not terrible movies, but they're just completely unnecessary. And so I just think with that, it's not only an unnecessary film, and it doesn't damage the other films, but you really have to just pretend like it doesn't exist, as you mentioned before.
Chris, what's your pick?
I think both of your picks are great. I hate that movie. Yeah. And that was an unnecessary movie. You're right.
Yeah.
I think you guys are. I would completely agree with both of you. But this movie ruined my life. This movie ruined my life, okay? I was never more excited in my entire life for a movie than Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Never in my life was I more anticipating a movie. The thing about Die Hard 5 is Die Hard 4 was okay. It wasn't a great Die Hard movie. So when I walked into Die Hard 5, I wasn't riding on heaven's clouds like I was. Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I think it has the most heart. I think it has some of the best action. And it took the series in a different direction than the other two did. So when I walked in to see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, we have Steven Spielberg directing this movie. John Moore directed Die Hard 5, who in my opinion has never made a good movie. He made Behind Enemy Lines, the Omen remake, I think.
I like Crystal Skull too.
Flight of the Phoenix, the Flight of the Phoenix remake this guy made. John Moore is not a good
He's a garbage person.
director at all. So I wasn't like, Die Hard 5 is going to be amazing. So I was just like, this is probably not going to be the greatest movie. And it wasn't. So it didn't ruin my life. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is directed by Steven Spielberg with a script by David Koepp, who wrote Jurassic Park along with Michael Crichton. He wrote Mission Impossible. He wrote Spider-Man. These are great talents. This should have been an incredible movie. And it was just so disappointing. And I remember walking out of it.
It was at least in focus.
It was in focus. You're right.
So,
it had shots. Like Die Hard 5 didn't have shots. It was just like, go film that thing over there with Bruce. Get Bruce Willis in frame. But no, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the most disappointing movie I've ever seen in my life. It had every chance and every amazing talent in Hollywood working on it. It should have been extremely better than it was. Your film had a really crappy director. I agree with you. Godfather 3 should have been a lot better than it was.
I should have picked Matrix too. I just realized it. Just
No. That was my original. My original pick was Reloaded, but
No, don't sway. The classics are not treated unfairly here.
Here's the thing. Godfather 2, Godfather 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
but it's not a bad movie. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I should have picked.
Okay, Indiana Jones is right here. Crystal Skull right here.
Right.
Die Hards. Down to the goddamn floor. Like, there's not one. Here's the thing. There are at least redeeming qualities in both of your movies. There's not one in mine. There's not one redeeming quality. Because here's the thing. Die Hard's not a stupid action movie. It's not Tango and Cash. It's not Demolition Man. It's Die Hard. And even the two sequels, even 4 has redeeming qualities. But
it's like 30 years later. I mean, come on.
No, but it's still a movie.
Yeah, it is a movie.
But just as a movie,
it's
an
entertaining action movie.
It's not though, man. Like that's the one thing. Like it's just take away from a Die Hard. Just watching, you can't even watch it on a plane because it's like watching like a terrible web series. It's just like
I think with both of the movies you guys picked are you put impossible expectations on those movies. And I think
no one has more expectations.
I think they're
than
perfect.
Godfather.
They're both perfectly fine movies. Like they both have their silliness in them, but they both have great things. I mean, there's not a Steven Spielberg movie that doesn't have moments of complete awe and wonder.
Sure.
I enjoy that movie. Look, it's not. I'm not as big a fan of Last Crusade as you are. I'm a huge fan of the first two films, especially the first one. But for me, that wasn't a disappointment. It's really kind of weird because including the movie I picked, I like all three of these movies. So I should have just picked something that I really hated. Like I was so disappointed in the second Matrix because that first movie blew my mind. I didn't know.
The third one's even worse though.
I didn't even see the third one. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's like I went to the premiere of the Matrix, and I really didn't know much about it, and it really just blew my mind. So I just thought, well, of course they're gonna, and it was like so disappointing.
They muffled it, but Matrix is out. We're skipping.
Yeah, I know.
What you got.
No,
So
All right, I get.
I'm willing to concede.
No, don't do it.
I just don't know how you can pick a worse. Like, there's not a worse movie, a worse franchise killer.
They're all bad movies, though, is where I think that's hard for me to quantify because that's your personal preference.
No, but it's.
I would say
Why?
that's the worst movie of the three.
Yeah, no, it's an
picked.
embarrassment. It's just it's not like yours is a bad movie and yours is a weird bad movie, but mine is just an embarrassment. It's just nothing happens in that movie. It's barely a movie. And
why does each of yours wreck the franchise? Last final point. Let's end on that. And go ahead, you can start.
Because when Die Hard 5 came out, it had already been tarnished by Die Hard 4. Now, I don't think Die Hard 4 is a bad movie, but it certainly was not as good as 1 or say 3 was. I do like it a tad more than 2, actually. I know. But the thing about that is that Indiana Jones, in my opinion, was a perfect trilogy. It was like the original Star Wars trilogy. Everyone was just like, don't ever do anything with it. If you can't make it right, don't do it. Like, I remember when they were talking about doing a fourth one, fans and people were like, please don't unless it's perfect. Just don't do it unless it's perfect. And they did it. And as we all know, it was not perfect. That tarnished the franchise. That was like, okay. And now when they're talking about an Indiana Jones movie, all the comments I ever see with this new one is, please don't do what you did last time. Please don't do what you did last time. When 5 came out for Die Hard 5, people were very upset, myself included, but a lot of people were already disappointed by 4, so it wasn't as bad.
I want to bring up something again. I brought up to you before when we were talking about the Star Wars thing. Is like, why are these people that make all those comments continue to? These movies make $1 billion. Why do they continue to go if they're so pissed off about it? That's what makes me really angry. Because that's why they keep making
Transformers.
That's why they keep making them. It's like, stop.
There's a lot of self-loathing.
The very
it's
base, the quote-unquote fan base of these movies hate them.
Yeah.
So why are we listening to them, and why are they continuing to pay the money to see them? That's I just
feel
don't
you on
get
that
it.
one.
You know?
I feel you on that. I really do. And that's one of the things. I've said that to people. I don't like the way his suit looks. I just wrote, "You're gonna go see the movie. Shut up."
Right.
It's like,
and I get it. Like, I want to really see these movies too. Of course, I'm gonna go see Die Hard 5 on the opening weekend. You know what I mean? I get the disappointment, but it's like you really have to start, making some noise with your feet in your pocketbook and stop paying for them. Otherwise, they'll just keep. They think that's what you want. They basically think you're stupid. Because you keep paying
I yelled
to
at a
see
lot of
it.
people here who saw a RoboCop remake. I was like, well,
They don't read your
that.
comment sections. They count their money.
Well,
again, all right, final point. And
Sorry.
Noted and really well said. But what last point for you on
Because
why
you
that
could
wrecked
watch The
franchise?
Godfather and The Godfather 2, and it's this perfectly formed thing with this beautifully bookended, beginning and ending, taking place over, decades, and it's just like, but wait, there's more. I just like, it's this perfect thing. It's like having the perfect, meal made by a 3-star Michelin chef, and then someone comes and puts a bottle of ketchup, douses it in a bottle of ketchup. You know what I mean? That's my basic argument.
Nick, final point.
The reason why Die Hard 5 is the worst movie of the franchise is because it makes the other movie, it ruins the franchise. It makes a joke of the franchise. You yourself just called it stupid action movies. Before Die Hard 5, they were just like, these were great action movies. It was Die Hard. But your movies don't ruin your franchise. This movie made Die Hard just another generic action franchise that used to be revered. And now it's just a joke. Like, oh, it's Die Hard. It's the thing where John McClane does like a bunch of green screen stuff. Who cares?
My movie made Indiana Jones' son swing on vines with CGI monkeys.
All right,
Okay?
noted. Now making my ruling. Okay, tough, because they all are bad in their own certain ways. But my ruling is based on, I think 2 of them weren't as bad into certain crowds, which was said by Mr. Pat Healy, and I think what he just said at the end of, it's like putting that garbage next to the people. I'm going with Godfather 3. Destroyed its legacy. And I think you two still have time to fix and everything, and it is a really sore thumb in those perfect.
They're talking about making another one. There's always talk every year. It's like
They need to not.
Stan.
They need to not.
I know that Nick doesn't want to distinguish Die Hard 5 by giving it its actual name, but it's called A Good Day to Die
Yeah,
Hard.
he also didn't call it the right name. Come on.
I'm not going to read
he doesn't want to say the word good in association
Anything
with
else?
the movie.
Nope, that's it.
Round 4. All right. Sony's shortlist for the director of the new Spider-Man MCU movie was published this week, and the 5 finalists are, according to this report, 50-50 director Jonathan Levine. He also did Warm Bodies. We're fans of him. He worked with us in Screen Junkies. St. Vincent, loved that film. Director Ted Melfi. Pitch Perfect director Jason Moore. Napoleon Dynamite director Jared Hess. And the Vacation reboot directors John Francie Daly and Jonathan B. M. Goldstein. So Mark Cardinal asked us on Twitter, of these 5, who should direct Spider-Man? And we're going to start this time with you, Pat.
So full disclosure, I am close friends and work associates with the Russo brothers who are involved with this project. I know nothing about what the development of the project. I haven't spoken to them about it or anything like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to see another Spider-Man movie. I frankly don't. I think that the reason that it is flailing and failing is because there's not the excitement there that there is with the other characters, and
I love you, Pat.
it's a character. It's
just
a
love
guy
you.
in a mask.
No
It's
one-
like
no one.
it's just not that exciting. And I thought the second one, it peaked with that one, second Sam Raimi one, and that was a terrific movie. I like the first 2.
That said, so are you picking no, or are you picking somebody?
No, I would say then it's gonna get made. So I would say let's go with Jared Hess because it's the most out of the box choice, and it seems like I don't think they're gonna make Jared Hess direct a movie in the style of the other Spider-Man movies. I think they want him because they want a new take. It's just like Marvel hiring, some of the people they've hired, because they want unique voices to add to these kind of franchise, movies, whether it's, Favreau or Shane Black or, initially Edgar Wright and, and people like that they want to get involved with these kinds of movies. That Jared Hess is going to give a new spin. At least that's a new kind of movie that I want to see. I don't want to see the same Spider-Man movie again. It's been 5 of the same movie. And it's like, if they're gonna make one, let's make one. I like all of Jared Hess's stuff to varying degrees. I think that those movies have a great sense of humor. They're oddball. I think that trying to take that character in that suit seriously, it just sort of sets me off because it's like, if you do something oddball and funny with it, because it's oddball and funny, it might be good. I'm not talking about 60s Batman camp, but maybe, some fresh take on it like that. And maybe this goes back to my preferences as evidenced by the Boba Fett Charlie Kaufman movie. I just would rather see a movie like that than see another, version of what we've seen before.
Can I choose Pat to direct
Or Spider-Man? Chris, who are you picking?
First off, I would like you to write the new Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'd like to, too.
I agree with
or
you.
I'd like the money from writing it.
I agree with you completely. Spider-Man 2 was the peak, and ever since then, it's been a downward spiral. And the reason I think because of that is because the writers just aren't understanding what makes Spider-Man work. They're not understanding the things that you need to have in a Spider-Man movie, and one of the things that you need is Spider-Man, in my opinion, is like Indiana Jones in one specific way. You need to keep beating on that guy over and over again. He needs to suffer in his movies. He needs to constantly have his ass kicked all the time, because that's what you care. That's why you care about Peter Parker or whatever incarnation of Spider-Man it is because you relate to him. You relate to his feelings. You understand he's a superhero for people who aren't famous and rich and with super awesome things. He's the kid in school who happened to get powers, and you feel for him because you care for him. And I think that the best movies that have been made by any filmmaker on that list were 50-50 and Warm Bodies by Jonathan Levine.
And the Whackness, too.
The Whackness, you got that right. I loved 50-50. I thought it was such a heartfelt movie, and it was a character piece for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It really showcased the horror of going through something like getting cancer, and it was written by someone who had actually gone through that in real life. And I think that as a director, and even with Warm Bodies, which was also about a person stuck in a situation that he couldn't get out of with this zombie guy who was starting to fall in love, and he didn't really understand why. And I think that Jonathan Levine, as a filmmaker, really understands that kind of tortured character who's suddenly burdened with something that he can't move on from, and he just has to learn how to deal with it, which is Spider-Man. And that's what makes Spider-Man so fun, is because once he embraces that side of himself, you want to root for the guy.
Nick, who are you picking?
I'm picking. Well, let me first off. Like, I love Jared Hess, but when he does anything,
Who are you picking?
hold on. when he does Jared
Let him
Hess,
speak.
when he does Jared Hess, like anytime he does anything commercial, it just kind of like it doesn't work.
Who are you picking, Nick?
I'm picking
Nacho
Jason
Libre
Moore.
is a
Who are you
great movie.
picking?
From Jason Moore from
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
great. Give me Jason Moore, and then we're going to open up the flood to everybody.
Yeah, okay. I don't want tortured Spider-Man. We've done that. They've tried to do that. They've tried to do angry nerd face Spider-Man. They try to do emo Spider-Man. I want funny Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done funny Spider-Man that actually works. Jason Moore knows comedy. And Spider-Man's a funny character. I want a really funny Spider-Man, and Jason Moore can do that. He did it with Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect was one of the best surprises in the last 5 years as far as a movie. He co-created the underrated Trophy Wife, which was amazing. And also, he directed and helped create Avenue Q, which is one of the funniest musicals I've ever seen in my life. It's so good. It's so funny. If you haven't watched it, it's amazing. It's about puppets in New York, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. We need funny Spider-Man because I don't want to see tortured Spider-Man anymore. We've seen that. Okay, Uncle Ben dies, blah, 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 blah. And, I think, Jared Hess is on the way to go, but I think Jason Moore could make a better commercial, funny, action-packed Spider-Man.
I don't want to see a tortured Spider-Man either. I need to make that really clear. What I mean is that
Levine is the guy who would do that. Because
I
50-50
don't
is
think so. No, because the 50-50 is about a guy who gets cancer and then finds the sense of humor in it and starts to joke about it. He uses his cancer to get dates. It's a movie about a guy who is in a terrible situation, finds the humor in it, and succeeds through that humor.
It is
and
drama.
No, I know. I've seen it. It's a great movie.
That's
it's
what
an
Spider-Man
amazing
is.
movie.
To me, that's what Spider-Man is. Okay, imagine you have this thing. Okay, well, now I can't go like this without webbing coming out of my hand. I mean, that's not a good situation to be in. You're weird. You're in high school. No one likes you. But then Spider-Man, the character, finds the humor in it, and he becomes that jackass character that
I feel like that's
want.
the Raimi movies. That is the Raimi movies.
Well,
And the
I
other
like the
movies,
Raimi
too.
movies.
Yeah,
I like
no.
the Raimi movies more than
No.
the newer ones, personally.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the Raimi movies. It's that's exactly the Raimi movies. I want to get rid of past that.
Is it the Raimi movies?
Yeah. Look, I want to.
It's a Raimi movies. Hallelujah.
I want to skip all the Uncle Ben stuff.
Me too.
I don't
Me
care
too.
about
I don't
it.
think anyone said they wanted to see Uncle
No.
Ben.
No.
I don't want
So,
Uncle
all right,
Ben.
but you're saying
No.
yours is a comedy
Yes.
first and foremost.
Yes.
Are yours two is a comedy?
Mine is, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what you mean about his movies, commercial movies not being good. I mean, I love Nacho Libre. I love that movie. It's a hilarious movie.
I just
It's
don't
a
wanna
great movie.
see-
It's completely original.
I don't want to see Peter Parker go to a costume store and be like, I want some stretchy pants.
Why not?
And they make his suit stretchy.
You know, because I don't know. I haven't seen Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
I have seen Avenue Q, which is great, and I haven't seen his show Trophy Wife. So I can't comment on him. And and I think Jonathan Levine is a really talented guy, and I've said I like all of his films. But I'm talking about they're talking about hiring another high school kid, which means that they're talking about doing another reboot, which is the same problem with
But
the Superman
they're
movies
hiring
too.
an actual high school age kid.
I understand
And he's
that.
gonna
and that's-
already have the powers.
And that's
Right.
and
No
that's fine.
origin.
Like I said, I don't want to shit on something that doesn't exist yet, especially since my friends are behind it in some way. And I reiterate, I have no inside knowledge. I really don't. I don't ask because I know they won't tell. But I just don't see any of these other versions. I guess it's not fair that I don't know his name, Jonathan Moore. Jason Moore's work, but I really want
Pitch
to
Perfect,
see.
surprisingly really funny.
People tell me that. I mean, I would have thought it would be the last movie on earth I'd want to see.
Oh, no,
But
same. And I want
literally everily I know says it's a great movie, so I'll have to check
And
it
then
out. at some
Avenue
point,
Q
but-
is just.
and that's great. I've seen that. I really enjoy. Again, as evidenced by my Charlie Kaufman Boba Fett, I really enjoy a really letting a different director come in with a completely different vision. And if they're thinking of him, then they must be thinking, oh, he's going to take this in a cool new direction, and that's exciting to me.
Well, let me ask that quick, and I don't want to wrap this up quickly, but is that good for Marvel? Is that working for Marvel with Edgar Wright leaving, and they clearly want a filmmaker that works with them? Do we want a filmmaker who's going to challenge them too much that then is going to cause the problems that have seemed to be causing on some of these movies.
I don't know. I think Iron Man and the both Captain America movies have really strong authorial voices in them, and they're different. I think that I don't know. We'll have to see what Ant-Man is like. Maybe that doesn't work, and we can't blame that on Jared Hess, certainly. But it's interesting. Hiring people like Scott Derrickson for Doctor Strange, and different people like that. I mean, even before hiring Ang Lee to do Hulk, I'm not a fan of that movie, but I know that they want to take interesting, out of the box, chances, and they don't always pay off. It's right, but I would be excited to see that movie.
I think all these directors do bring a little bit of that. So, but I totally agree. He's got a standard style that's different than the others too. Last points here, Chris. Why is yours the choice?
Because I agree. I want to see a funny Spider-Man, but the reason Spider-Man's funny is because he puts on that suit and he becomes a different person. He accepts what's happened to him, and he uses that alter ego of himself to live out basically the fantasies he's wanted to have of being a cool, liked person. And with Jonathan Levine directing 2 films that are both about young people who are afflicted with something, trying to figure out how to get out of that, especially 50-50, a guy who suddenly now has cancer and uses his cancer to his advantage to find the humor in it, and then eventually is able to, it's not a sad movie. It's a very fun movie. It's the happiest cancer movie I've ever seen. But that's what Spider-Man is. He's a character who accepts who he is and allows all that stuff that he's dealing with to bring out the funny side of him.
Nick, final thought. I know you said comedy. Give me something else. Why is that the right choice?
Because we haven't seen it. We've seen tortured Spider-Man. We haven't seen good, lighthearted. It almost gets shit on anymore. But we haven't seen good, lighthearted, smart comedy in a superhero. And I think he's the one who can do it, and he's done it with Avenue Q. It's one of the smartest, funniest shows I've ever seen, and he's the perfect guy to do it. He's the guy who can handle comedy out of these guys, and I think he would produce the funniest movie possible.
Okay, rolling in that. It's tough. I'm gonna go with Stuckmann.
Getting shut out.
The reason why, just quickly, I think you're both saying the sort of same thing, which I think is what I'm more to it, because I'm just worried it's too outside the box, and I feel like he hasn't done much more. What does he do since Nacho Libre?
Gentleman Broncos.
Gentleman Broncos.
He's sort of not.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's got
these 2 guys
actually
are a little bit more higher.
2
point.
movies that he's finished that are
But
coming out.
So I lean more towards these based on just sort of the filmography, and I think you're undercrediting that 50-50 did a lot more of that, balancing the comedy in a way that I think you're even wanting. So I think, and at that point you made about having that, all the things you said, he gets the point. Let's move on. So you're on the board. That means unless you can lose a point, I think that means Stuckmann's going into the finals.
Unless he does something to offend you.
So we're going. You got 2 more rounds here, fellas.
I'm getting
to
shut
get on
out.
the board to make it to speed round. All right, round 5. Tom Hardy, aka Bane and Mad Max, has said this week that he also wants to be the Punisher for Marvel. What do we think of this? At DoMaster2 asked us this question: who do we think should play the Punisher? And Chris, I want to hear from you first.
Okay, so maybe a year or 2 ago, I would never say this ever because it's just not something I'd ever think of. But after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy and hearing that he got cast in Spectre, the new Bond film, I think Dave Bautista would be a fantastic Punisher. He's around the right age. He certainly has the build. Maybe he might actually have to lose a little muscle just to be a little more realistic, but that's not too hard for someone that big to do. I think what the Punisher is in the comics is a character that has a lot of charisma, and Dave Bautista really brought that in Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, for me, he was the most surprising part of that movie because that was like when I first saw The Rock in The Rundown. Because up until then, he was like the Scorpion King, and it was okay. But in The Rundown, he was an actual character giving like a really good performance, and that's what I felt in when I saw Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that he's actually a good actor because I'm sure you can, both of you guys can vouch for me on this, that comedy is one of the hardest things to act. It's really difficult.
He's fantastic.
He's great. It's really hard to suddenly just give an amazing comedic performance when you're going from a wrestler to an actor. So taking on a more serious character like the Punisher, I think he could actually do a really great job with it.
Does it eventually lead to a Drax versus Punisher moment?
That would only be incredible.
Oh.
I mean,
Can that be possible? Well, we'll discuss.
Captain America.
Drax from Moonraker.
Captain America was fantastic,
Oh.
but different universe. But go ahead, Nick.
Okay, I don't think I love Dave Bautista. I don't think Punisher needs to be a hulking mess. He needs to be a guy crazy enough and insane enough and distraught with personal anger
Don't
to
say
go
The
on
Rock.
this.
Don't say The Rock.
No, I'm not. Unholy crusade to
Undertaker.
to go through. I can to go through this of just murdering everyone that has ever wronged him. So Michael Shannon is the perfect guy because Michael Shannon is a crazy person. I'm not talking about it in his movies, but he is a goddamn insane crazy person. Watch any interview he's ever done, and he's just unhinged. He's just going nuts. Like his eyes look like he could murder everyone. And he's the only person I know that could, go on this crusade and murder everyone. I wouldn't be surprised on the turn on the news, Michael Shannon killed a bunch of people because he's just nuts. Watch the Joseph Gordon-Levitt bike movie. He's in 3 different movies. He's
great in that movie.
Oh, he's great, but he's in 3 different movies.
one of the best performances
Oh my
of the
God,
last
So,
10 years.
if you haven't run, what's it called? Premium Rush?
Premium
Rush.
I
If
actually
you've never
like that
seen
movie.
Premium Rush, you gotta watch
He's
it.
insane in his
He's
shows.
Wile E.
Michael Shannon.
Coyote.
And, and I don't know who you picked, but who's the only guy that probably has a tattoo scar of a giant skull on his chest? Michael Shannon. He's the craziest. And you need that to do a realistic Punisher because they've done the muscle-bound Punishers before, Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, the other one. You don't need that. You just need someone who's has it in his eyes that he would murder everything.
Pat.
I just thought this was a weird question because if Tom Hardy wants to play the Punisher, then let Tom Hardy play the Punisher. And that's really my answer because, Tom Hardy has shown that he not only has the, physique, he has the acting chops. He's done so many diverse roles. I don't get excited about. I really don't. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. I don't get excited about franchise movies anymore. I am so excited about Mad Max. I can't even tell you. I mean, The Road Warrior is a movie that changed my life when I saw it in the theater. I was 11, 12 years old. And I just, to this day, it's just like so many things are informed by that. And this movie looks fantastic.
I can't wait to see it.
And it's like a whole other, he was Bane in Dark Knight Rises, but this is the star of a franchised action movie. And I think that, Dave Bautista, I've only seen in that film. I don't know if he's acted in other things. He's certainly very funny and very charming. Whether or not he has the sort of pathos or can play that sort of torment that the Punisher needs to a certain degree, it remains to be seen. Michael Shannon is one of my best friends for over 20 years.
So you're going against him.
I can't really. I just think.
We tell him I think he's the most amazing person in the world,
absolutely
'cause I'm joking aside, but out of the 3 guys, he's the one who I think would.
Let's make this happen. Come
No,
on.
I
You
mean,
can switch your vote and get your buddy.
It's funny. I didn't even think about it because, I mean, it's really good. And you know what? A lot of people don't know about Mike is that if you've seen Premium Rush, you know how funny he is.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
And
Think
everyone
about that
thinks
character.
about him as just like being scary, but he's not. I've known him since he was 19 years old, so it's like I've seen him do literally everything and be excel at all of
He's
it.
the best person. He's so good.
Yeah.
right,
So
he
it's
knows
difficult
him.
for me.
Shut up.
But so.
Well, Nick called his best friend a psychopath, so he's got to walk it back.
He's not my best. He is one of my best friends. He's one of my oldest
I
friends.
stand by it.
But no, I mean,
he's not a sociopath.
Look, listen. He's a guy, and I've told this to his face. Like, you don't want to, as close as I am to him, you don't want him angry at you.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's not great.
It's just the eyes.
You kind of caught me there because I didn't think about that, and that's kind of brilliant, and I really am always obviously rooting for him. But I just thought that, well, shit, I'm sure there's agents at work right now if he just said he wanted to play that, and that's probably part of the idea that they're working on Tom Hardy
Movie
to put
fights
together.
exclusive.
So I would think that he would be perfect for it, Hardy.
All right, so why, real quickly, last thoughts versus the other ones, why is yours better?
I just think he's the scariest of the 3. And
But
Punisher.
tell me why these 2 aren't.
I think Dave Bautista, he showed in Drax, he has a heart and he has this soul. And I think the thing about the Punisher is that he's devoid of the soul. That's what pushes him to go on this unholy crusade. And I think Drax, you can hold on to humanity. And I think Tom Hardy and Dave Bautista, they would still have that heart in that, and you can't have it. Where I think Michael Shannon, can play this, and I mean this in the ultimate devoid, soulless person that can just you believe his rage and more so, because it's hard to argue against all three actors. So it's but I mean I think that's why he's the best.
I agree with you. The Punisher is devoid of soul. But imagine that the reason he's devoid of soul is because he had a soul with his family, and that was taken away from him, and now he's just a cold, stone cold person. Now imagine the heart of what Dave Bautista brought to Drax. Take that away, all you have is a killing machine. Okay, Drax just wanted to kill the person who killed his family. Take that funny, joking, I don't understand English language kind of stuff away. Imagine Dave Bautista walking through that door. He wants to kill you. Okay, now imagine Michael Shannon. Scary, but maybe you could possibly take him. Same with Tom Hardy. Dave Bautista will crush us all in his bare hands. Okay, and that's why I think he'd be great for the Punisher.
Shannon has knives all over him.
I would say to sort of elaborate on what you were saying a little bit. He's got if he's devoid of a soul now. And he once had a heart. You're gonna have to see that.
No, and of course Shannon can play
and
that.
Mike could totally do that.
Yeah.
And Bautista, I'm not sure can do the other thing. I've just seen him sort of be funny and charming. So
I'm going off
maybe
the
he
fact
won't
that he
be
was
as
cast
threatening.
as a villain in Bond. That's what I'm going.
Yeah,
off.
sure.
So are you siding with your friend and giving him the role? Are we starting a Screen Junkies crusade to get Michael Shannon as Punisher?
Here's the thing.
Nick wins!
I need an assist. I got on the board though.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Hashtag Michael Shannon for Punisher.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's
Tom.
the only Punisher I would ever want to watch. I don't like the Punisher as a character. I think he's boring as hell.
He's gonna come home and you're gonna be like, "What? All these people are telling me to play the Punisher."
I actually it's not a great movie, but I think the best one is the Dolph Lundgren one.
Yeah.
I still think it's the Dirty Laundry short with Thomas Jane.
I wouldn't actually hate if Thomas Jane played him again.
I like that
and
one.
I like Tom Hardy playing him too.
Round 6.
Very quickly, Nick, the Punisher you referred to as the other one would be Ray Stevenson in Punisher Warzone,
Right,
who's
yeah.
Volstagg, the
Who's
Gimli
also a
looking
friend
guy in
of mine.
Thor. So there you go. Still wrapped up in Marvel.
So, Chris, you're in the finals. And
Okay.
to avoid a speed round, I'm just going to make a call here. You're in the finals. This last round, you can still fight. And second place winner, if you win, will be the person who goes in the finals. Everyone
Cool.
clear?
Yeah.
Does that work and seem fair to you, Dan?
Yeah.
You hear me?
We are the Wild Wild West.
Because I don't want this to be super long. We're not, and the
Sure.
tiebreaker's a little complicated. So since we have 3 points to Stuckmann, 1 point to Pat, 1 point to Nick. If one of you win, you're in the finals with Chris. If he wins, second place is going with him to the finals.
I can still do my point
Yes.
though? Okay.
So we have a fun
Good, because
fight
I did
here.
research.
So we have a fun fight here. But you're going for an extra point into your finals, and then obviously the other person gets
So
it.
this point actually matters for me if I get it.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Everyone makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, great. So fight 6. This Sunday, right now, is Mother's Day. So after you're watching, please
Happy
go
Mother's
call
Day,
your
Mom.
mom.
Hi, Mom.
Tell your lover
I'm
or
taking mine to
someone, whoever
brunch.
raised you, or if
Edible
they're not with us,
arrangements.
think positive thoughts. Let's celebrate our awesome moms. But we wanted to flip around because it's more fun this way. Who is the worst movie mom for round 6? And we are starting with you, Nick. Worst movie mom.
The worst movie mom did something horrific, and she did it twice. It's Kevin McAllister's mom, Miss McAllister, from Home Alone. She left her child, an 8-year-old and then a 9-year-old, home alone, and then he, for days, without food, without water, without money. And he had to fend for himself like an animal, fending off villains. And then think about the post-traumatic stress disorder he had, growing up. Actually, JT, throw it. Look what become to Kevin McAllister. Look what happened to him. Because his
right,
mother
that's cheap.
left him.
That's not
Yeah,
Kevin.
look what happened to him because he wasn't brought on vacations. He was tortured as a child. And look, you know what? Say what you will about Joe Pesci and the Wet Bandits. Say what you will, but they had to we don't know their circumstances. They had to steal. Kevin attacked them. He tried to murder people because he was home alone for 2 days. You don't let a child like that by themselves that long. And she destroyed a soul. She destroyed a child because she had to go to France.
That's going to be tough to beat, guys. Pat, what are you thinking?
Tough to beat. Speaking of beating,
Can Pat be on the show all the time?
as Faye Dunaway, as Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest says after she wins in a swimming competition against her daughter, "I'll always beat you." And she does. Because she has wire hangers in her closet world famous movie star, has everything in the world that she could possibly want, beats the shit out of this sweet little girl over and over again, humiliates her, denigrates her, deprives her of food.
You really brought it
no
down.
excuse for
Really
that.
brought it down. Try to keep it light.
Mrs. McAllister, in her defense, feels terribly about what she did.
But she did it twice.
It's
she did
true,
it twice.
But she felt terribly twice.
And you know what? She probably did it again.
You know? And it's
And,
like,
and that kid's a
He had you, but you got
Joan
he did do it
Crawford
twice.
is remorseless.
But you know,
And to her grave.
but at least she paid attention to her.
She felt.
At least she knew where he
She
was.
felt justified. She felt that she was a good mother.
So did Miss McAllister with their other
You
kids
know-
All right,
that she
hold
loved.
on. I got your. Let's get Chris in this fight too. What's your pick, Chris?
Chris already
Okay.
won.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Both of these picks are great. Seriously, that's freaking hilarious. That I love it. I love Home Alone. That movie's
Sit back.
hilarious. Okay, but like he said, this was an accident.
Twice.
Yes, she made a very bad accident twice, but it was an accident.
Dan, are you correcting? Is that not an accident in the second one?
To be fair, she did not leave him home alone in the second one. He got on the wrong plane by accident.
So it's his fault.
Because she
So-
was in first class while all the other kids were in coach,
That's the
not
first
checking
movie.
on the
That's the
kids.
first
That's
movie.
the first
That's
movie.
the
Was
first
she in first
movie.
class in the second movie?
No.
I don't remember. No, they were all in a big group, and
Yeah.
Kevin and got on the wrong
sorry.
plane by
He,
accident.
My mom-
he followed the dad who had the same coat.
My
Yes.
mom is
Yeah.
still calling me, making
It's the
sure I go
airline's
here to
fault,
home.
if anyone.
No, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin just really wanted
But
those
shouldn't
batteries
the
in
mom,
that top
like,
boy.
who lost his son the first time,
Yeah,
do a
well, she
head
keep an
count
eye
on
on
the
him.
plane
You would
before
have a
it takes
leash
off?
on him.
Anyway,
And she didn't destroy Kevin. As a kid, he's throwing bricks at people's heads.
because he was fending for himself and became Lord of the Flies.
who's your pick, Chris?
My pick is Margaret White from Carrie. Now, look, if there's one thing that I would never, I'm not a woman, obviously, but if I happen to
Become one.
get my womanhood at school and be completely like, what is happening to me? Why is this change happening to me? My mother never told me what this is. Margaret White never told her daughter what to expect, and when she came home to explain it, she called it a sin. I mean, she locked her daughter in the closet. She forced tons and tons of religion onto her as a youth. And spoiler for Carrie, if you've never seen it, her daughter eventually murders her own mother. I mean, that's how terrible of a mother she was. Her own daughter uses telekinetic powers to impale her with tons of kitchen supplies.
Your moms would have gotten him on the plane. Your moms would have gotten him on the plane, and you can't argue.
My mom doesn't. My actual mom is amazing. My choice for mom probably doesn't even believe in planes.
Yeah,
she
but
probably
she would-
thinks you can't rise above the clouds
She would
because
have
you'll
got
be
him
too
on the
close to
mud hut.
God.
She would have got him there. She would have got him to the religious.
No.
Whose mom is worse? Because we have two different moms. I'm not saying he's winning, but I'm just saying, Mommy Dearest versus Carrie. I'd love for you to. Who's the worst mom?
Well, I mean, to me, you know, that Carrie is a fictional story, and there isn't, you know, a person like. I mean, I'm sure there are people maybe like that, but it's like a very demonstrative.
With telekinesis power.
With well, she doesn't, but I mean, her daughter does. You know, yeah, and there's telekinetic powers, and it's very, you know. I mean, to be fair, you know, the Joan Crawford that Faye Dunaway played is very, you know, stylized and high camp too, but it is based on an actual memoir of her daughter, detailing, you know, enormous acts of cruelty, and you know, and the movie, you know, makes it fun to a certain degree
Right, because
it
this
can
is
be
movie mom, not real life mom.
right, but it's true, but I mean, it's a dramatization, just like any you know, artistic endeavor would be of a true story of something that really happened, and it's just like real life cruelty.
I think the most realistic mom is a suburban mom who is affluent, who forgets her child.
Hold on.
also
You're in the running, but I'm trying to whittle down.
Also,
these two.
I would argue that, you know, coming from a lower middle class family myself, like struggling as you know, as Carrie's mom did, you know, is difficult on a person, and who knows what happened to her. Joan Crawford had no excuse. She was an extremely successful, you know, wealthy person, and she had no excuse to be doing what she was doing. There's certain pressures on a person that's struggling financially, and I don't condone child abuse, certainly, but I could certainly see where she might, where her motivation might be coming from. Whereas Joan Crawford is just a psycho.
I just feel that Margaret White as a character, using religion as her excuse to treat her daughter so poorly, and also taking, a very important event in a woman's life and using that as a punishment and using that as a way to say that you are a bad person because you allowed this to happen. Those are sinful thoughts that you're having. Go sit in the closet for the rest of the night. You don't get dinner. Like, to me, that's the epitome.
Did she beat her?
I think she tossed her around a few times.
Can I also make one more
Semantics
point?
is the worst semantics argument ever. But
It's been a while since I've
which
seen
mom
Carrie.
beat their child?
Can I and who knows what
To me, physical. Seriously though, to me, mental beating is worse than physical beating because you can actually.
Joan Crawford did both.
It's true.
And also Carrie, I don't know what is a very
This is depressing.
is a very short period of time.
Nick wins.
Really?
Nick wins.
on.
Nick wins because your guys.
The movie ends with them hugging in front of a Christmas tree.
And
She's a
she
good
does it
mom.
again.
She's a good mom.
No, she's not.
The reason I'm just making Nick
child.
win is because I feel like it's too hard to compare which ones are gonna win.
Don't call it a
And
comeback.
she
on.
did it
So
twice.
I get fucked.
Yeah.
By the way,
because she did it twice.
go back to the
it-
Suicide Squad one. I'm gonna
It's
get a
just
lot of
more
shit for that.
fun.
Like, this is a fun game. Don't get all weird.
Dan.
Can I just say, Chris, you might have been able to score some more points if you mentioned the fact that Carrie's mother tries to kill her at the end of the movie and actually stabs her in the back.
Yeah, I should have said that. See, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
but
Carrie.
I
haven't
couldn't
seen
get
Carrie
either
in
of
a
your
couple
two to
months.
give me enough things, and
She does have
It's getting
telekinetic
too
powers.
dark.
though.
I want to end on a happy note.
Good job, Nick.
Yeah.
Home Alone mom is the worst.
Home Alone mom ending
Go
with
ahead
a
and
hug
hate
in
me.
front of a Christmas tree.
I'm sorry though, that takes you out. But
Yeah.
You're not out because you're gonna help us determine who
Oh, I
wins
can't
here.
leave.
Pat,
So I'm out and I gotta sit here.
Pat,
It's
you were
like
the
Survivor.
best. You were the best person on the show. That's ever
Yes,
been.
can we
This
give
is
a
really
round of
fun.
applause
Oh
for
my God.
Mr. Pat Healy? Wow, we're honored that you played our silly game.
I almost want Pat to go to the vote.
Can we add Joan Crawford to Suicide Squad? I definitely see it.
That would be so much better.
All right, we're gonna do this speed
I'll do this
round,
with Pat.
and so please stay tuned because
So
you're
I
gonna
just
help.
stay tuned but stay quiet.
Yeah,
right?
no. So
Oh,
the way
okay.
this works is I'm going to give these two people, Stuckmann and Mundy, I'm going to give you both a question. You're both going to answer at the same time. Now, the rules have changed. I'm going to verify for everyone. I'm going to try and do this quickly and concisely. Whoever says a name first. For example, best Die Hard sequel. If you both say Die Hard 3, whoever said it first gets to pick Die Hard 3. Whoever said it second has to pick another one quickly, and you will both fight. But you just can't get the one you said at the
Okay,
same time.
so-
Does that make sense? So if you both said Die Hard 3, I'd say we heard Chris say it first.
Then I get
Dan,
to
Nick
pick
would
an
quickly have to
alternative.
pick an alternative quickly, and then we would each have you fight. So
you
you're
pick it
not.
all.
You're not. The reason we're explaining this is because we used to knock them out if someone said it first. But no, you get to fight.
That was the coward's way.
Make sense? Everyone understand
Yeah,
this
got
works?
it.
All right.
So you want to say quick, but also make sure you say the right thing because then you're stuck with it. All right. Now, as they say
Why
their
are they
answers,
cutting to
this is quick. This is speed round. It never takes that fast, though. But I will be asking you and Dan to help choose
Okay.
who won and who made the better argument. They're going to give quick arguments, and you're basing your choice on their argument, not who you like the best.
I like you both equally too. So
Thank you.
don't
But we're
worry about
basing
any
on the
bias.
argument. Dan knows this, but Pat, make
Yeah.
it clear what you have to base on the argument, and we have to keep it quick. You're just going to tell me who made the better argument. All right? And not why.
You're the best person.
Let's start this. Oh, I hear that speedrun music. Speedrun
intense.
music, number 1. Best Hollywood Ben.
Affleck.
Vereen.
Okay. Why Ben Affleck, Chris Stuckmann?
Okay, so Ben Affleck.
That was not, I had like 3 in my head. That was not
Okay.
one of them. Kudos.
So Ben Affleck started out with an Oscar for his screenplay that he wrote with Matt Damon for Good Will Hunting. And then he had a downward spiral into Paycheck and Daredevil. Then he said, you know what? I'm going to direct a movie, and I'm going to make Gone Baby Gone, and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to do it 2 more times, and then I'm going to win the Best Picture for Argo. And now he's playing Batman. This guy has changed his entire career around.
Time.
Ben Vereen can act. He can also dance and sing, and he wasn't in Geely. Boom.
Okay.
Or
I know
Daredevil.
my decision. Dan, what are you going to pick?
Based on the arguments, Chris.
Pat, based on the arguments.
I love Ben Vereena's Chicken George, and also at the end of all that jazz. But yes, Chris Bennett.
Chris,
clearly
it's a
wins.
3-way win there, Chris. You got that one.
Thank you.
Posers.
You could have. Come on, or Zoobly Zoo. He was on that too.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
Zoobly
that.
Zoo. Ben Stiller. Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, I chose the right one.
Benjamin Bratt.
Benjamin Bratt.
All the Ben Vereen fans are going to come on my side.
Stay close to the mic.
Uncle
Nick,
Ben's Minute Right.
All right, number 2. Here comes the music. You can turn it up a little bit. Better franchise, Rocky or Rambo?
Rocky.
Rambo.
It's the only one you got left. Nick, why Rocky?
Rocky is it's the underdog story. It's the perfect underdog story, and we get to see a man's life go through it. And it's, I use this joke a lot, but it's like the story of an American guy, and it reminds me of my parents. Like my parents are Rocky and Talia Shire, and it's the most beautiful American modern day story of a man just trying to make the best for his life and family.
Time.
My issue with the Rocky movies, although I do enjoy most of them, are that they are all the same. They're the same movie over and over again, except for 5, which is awful. But they're all the exact same movie. There's an impossible guy to beat. Gotta train. Oh, I'm down on my luck. Let's have a montage. Da, 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 da. Let's have a fight. Oh, yay, I'm happy. They're
like
all
Rocky
the same.
better.
They're all the same.
Okay.
The Rambo movies are at least different.
Take it. Is that who you're picking?
I have a fondness in my heart for this guy so much. I love the Rocky movies, but these movies I watch all of them.
Is that
every
what's?
year.
But you got it based on what he said, based on the arguments.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're picking Rambo and
course.
Stuckmann. Dan,
Chris didn't say why his was better. I go with Nick.
I gotta echo Dan. I think you focus too much on.
You stopped me. You went
It's
like
time.
this.
It's time. You
I
took
said
too
they're
long
all
on it.
different.
Oh, he's getting. It's a patty cam.
Don't Christian
They're wrong.
Don't Christian it. Don't Christian it.
I'm
they're
Christian
wrong.
Harloff. Oh, Christian Harloff. Wait a second now. Wait.
Oh, are we doing Christian riffs?
You can at least go to sleep tonight knowing
true.
that you're right.
Plus,
Rocky's
the
better.
Rambos are different.
Can I just say on the record I like Rocky better?
And how are the Rambos different? Anyway, we'll discuss it
Who
afterwards.
cares?
Don't me.
Someday on after the movie fight.
But don't go down to my level. I'm garbage.
Yeah.
You know.
You're still in the lead, Chris. So don't worry.
Guys,
Okay.
it's all fun. I'm having a great
I
time.
love that you got upset though. That was.
I'm having a
genuine
great
upset.
time. I'm having a great time.
Okay, both of these movies are on cable. Which do you watch? Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, or Star Wars Episode 1?
Star Wars Episode 1.
Stuckmann said it first.
Yeah.
Something keep in your mouth.
Okay. No, I got
You
this.
got
I got
Star
this.
Trek V. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, Star Trek V is one of the worst movies ever made. William Shatner directed it. There was no reason he should have directed that movie. It was about the search for God, and when he finds God, it's a projection screen with a slide projector projecting the image of God, and they talk to Kirk. Nothing happened. You can actually remove that movie from the franchise, and nothing about the franchise changes. Star Wars Episode 1 is not a good movie, but at least it had Darth Maul and a cool pod race sequence, and you can at least watch the film for what it is, despite the fact that it is not that great.
Time.
Look, you've already seen Phantom Menace. Watch Star Trek V because it's super weird and terrible and insane. They literally project God onto it. Everything he said, but do it. Watch it because it's awesome. And look, it's 2 o'clock on TNT. You probably cracked open a few beers if you're of age. So why not watch it? Because it's a super trippy, weird, stupid movie. And look, you need to see the pod race again?
Wow. All right, Nick, you came a couple of the punches there. I'm liking that.
I'm drooling
Pat,
from
what do you
laughing.
think?
Yeah, I totally agree with Nick. I can't believe you guys both said that, and for exactly the same reasons. That movie is just like
Look,
insane.
if you're of age, maybe party it up.
And he
watch
asks
Star
that,
Trek
what need does God have with a starship? And then the guy just zaps him with lightning bolts out of his eyes. And the Uhuru dance, the sexy
Uhuru dance
dance.
is amazing.
Come on.
Dad.
Oh man.
They're laughing. Just give it. Come on.
Chris.
I don't usually argue the semantics of the question, but which movie do I want to watch on cable? I kind of want to do everything you just said. Star Trek V gets it. Wow.
Dad, come on. Boo.
Easily.
Wow.
Easily.
So we tied it?
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tied. And there's 2 questions left, so it might go to a tiebreaker.
Stacked deck.
Woo.
That was pretty impressive.
You're absolutely right.
Number 4. Worst movie song to hear on repeat. Prince's Bat Dance or Vanilla Ice's Turtle Rap?
Vanilla Ice Turtle Rap.
Trap.
I heard Vanilla Ice's Turtle Rap first.
From Chris?
Yes. I heard it first. Sorry, you got Turtle Rap? Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! Go Ninja.
Okay, here's the thing about why Prince it's hard to watch, because Prince would make the ultimate Joker, and it's hard. It's a tough reminder that we'll never see it. But Ninja Rap, come on, that got you into hip hop music, and that led to you getting into more hip hop music, like Public Enemy, like Jay-Z, like Dr. Dre, and that was an opening door of getting you into like Prince is great, but it just leads you into more Prince. But like like Go Ninja Rap, like led you into a whole new world of music and hip hop that as a child in 1991 I enjoyed. So that's why I like hip hop.
You're a very funny person, and those things you said are funny, but not true.
It's true.
No
That's
one
true.
got into hip hop because of Vanilla Ice's turtle.
Because I'm not a myopic.
hold on,
I'm not a
let him have his
myopic
time.
person.
There's not a single soul on earth who heard turtle rap and went, "I'm gonna go listen to some good music now."
Yep.
Everyone heard that and said, "I need to go, rip out my eardrums." Bat Dance. It's not like the greatest song, but it's at least a good song on its own, even separate from Batman. Turtle Rap exists only in Ninja Turtles, and it's in one of the worst Ninja Turtles movies that you don't want to really
What
watch.
other movies did you hear Bat Dance in?
I'm saying you can actually listen to it as
Ordinary
a song.
people.
All right, did we? I feel like. Did you feel you got your time? I feel like you both got the same time. I want to make sure you feel fair. All right,
I feel good.
Pat, who do you basing arguments?
Well, in one of your arguments, you lost it for me, Chris. 'Cause I don't really know the Ninja song that well. I've heard it. That Bat Dance is a total earworm, but you said it's still a good song, and it isn't. So I'm gonna go with Nick.
Oh, he gives us Nick. Okay, Dan.
Chris, Nick's argument was ridiculous.
I'm gonna give it to Chris as well.
Thank you.
Wow, so Chris is in the lead, but you have one more chance, and if you do, it makes the show longer. So careful, Nick.
Spoiler alert! Guess what's gonna happen?
I'm checking out Rambo's ass in these jeans.
Number 5.
Hey guys, we could go to a tiebreaker, but we don't have enough time. So
I was
Yeah,
checking
much
out
of an ass.
Wreck-It Ralph's ass.
All right, number 5. Worst movie starring Julia Roberts.
Ugh.
Oh, the Mexico, the gun one with the Brad Pitt. Like the
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I'll accept it. It's called The Mexican.
the Mexican.
Full Frontal.
Oof, was she in that?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Nick, go ahead. The one you don't know.
You're a big film nerd. You should at least appreciate what Full Frontal tried to do. Like the Mexico, like that movie was just garbage. It was on TNT, and I had mono, and I was watching it, and like it made my mono worse. It was just a stupid Brad Pitt vanity project that no one cared about. At least Full Frontal was like trying to do something. The Mexicanist was just trying to get a paycheck. It was a paycheck movie. Should have been called The Paycheck.
Full Frontal had so much talent in it. It was directed by Steven Soderbergh, who, in my opinion, is one of the best directors, who unfortunately isn't going to make movies for a while anymore. And the movie was not about anything. It was like a series of various shots that didn't make sense. I'll do a Nick Mundy argument. I had pneumonia when I watched The Mexican, and it made my pneumonia got better because The Mexican was so good. No, Full Frontal wasn't even a movie. The Mexican is at least a movie with performances by Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts. It's at least a movie you can watch.
They're counting.
Okay. Shh. Dan.
Nick.
Pat.
Yeah, I mean, the Mexicans is not good, but it's okay, and Gandolfini's great in it and everything, so I reject that. That's a terrible movie. Full Frontal is an awful movie, and you made that point very well, Nick.
Thank you.
Chris. Oh, so it's on me. So I'm defining here.
Let's go an extra couple minutes.
I've never seen
I don't
Full
know if my
Frontal,
bladder
but I
can
know it's
handle it.
awful. So that's
It's
where
not
I'm
that bad.
stuck.
Well,
But I didn't
every
hate-
movie he's
The
made is
Mexican.
redeeming in some way.
Yeah, no,
except for that movie.
Full Frontal is a good movie.
No, it's not.
You would
Is
rather.
David Duchovny in that?
Yes, he is.
I did. Okay, I did see it actually. Yeah, it was just a lamb. It was a mess.
It's a mess.
But it was trying to do something.
It's a
Schizopolis
it's a
is a
series of
good
shots
mess.
about
That's
nothing.
a bad
Did
mess.
Julia Roberts star in it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. She's on the
She's
poster.
on the cover of the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
the
She
lead.
is the only person on the cover of the
I was just
Blu-ray.
helping with semantic. Wow. I don't feel like either of you really sold me either, so I'm taking it to the tiebreaker just so one of you earns it right. Giving it to Nick.
Huh?
We're doing more.
Okay. Talk to me like I'm a stupid person.
I didn't want to give it to you based on that because I just think it was the best one. So we're doing one more. Here it is.
I won
So
by.
it's your mistake.
Yeah, it's my mistake. It's my show. Oh well. Last fight. This is it.
Right.
Which 80s remake would we rather see? which 80s remake would we rather see? Crocodile Dundee or Ferris Bueller?
Crocodile Dundee.
Nick, I heard first.
Nick.
Yeah.
This is so.
I heard him too.
I won last time and you know it.
Hey, it's not over. You were championing the show. People have turned it around.
Kidding.
Imagine Tom Hardy as Crocodile Dundee in a badass action remake where he's taking the Outback and he goes to New York and makes this badass, awesome movie of like he's ripped his shoulders, he has alligator friends, and he's just ripping necks off. Like Crocodile Dundee action movie with Tom Hardy.
Okay, I think you have a shot, Chris.
The thing about Ferris Bueller is it's actually a good movie. Crocodile Dundee, in my opinion, is like a cult classic kind of movie that's not actually very good. The sequels are awful. We've seen more Crocodile Dundee. We don't need more Crocodile Dundee. There's only so many things you can do with a guy with a big knife and alligators. At least Ferris Bueller has a lot of things you could actually take that character, a lot of directions you could take him that weren't explored that much in the first film. If you wanted to reboot the franchise, you don't necessarily have to get a new cast. You could even show what these guys are like now that they're older. They're doing that with Bill and Ted right now. And that actually sounds like a really funny idea. What are these strange, quirky characters doing now with their normal, everyday jobs?
Well, you said reboot because I'd put Paul Hogan back in that movie.
Reboot does not mean that you get a whole new cast. A reboot just means that you're going to try to sell this as a franchise again. So you could actually have that same cast again, and you can make a really interesting movie.
Hey, remember the
Super Bowl commercial with Ferris
I actually feel
Bueller?
good about both of those. Let's be fair here, because I don't want someone to say, oh, no, you can't touch these. I feel good. Pat, who do you think?
I loved Ferris Bueller as a teenager, and I watch it now. I wonder why I loved it, because he's every single person I fucking hated when I was in high school. You make a compelling argument, but I would much rather see the Crocodile Dundee movie,
Dan?
as described by you.
I'd rather see Chris's movie.
Chris, I think you were up against the wall, and I think you did it! I don't want to see Tom Hardy be funny ripping gators.
I'd say be funny.
That sounds
I didn't say
weird.
be funny.
It's a comedy.
He could
It's not
fight the killer croc.
Chris gets it!
Had a comeback.
He had the comeback. You did it. I'm so honored for all of you guys. What a really long, overly long, but exciting fight. Thank you all so much for coming and doing this. Did you guys have fun?
I
Yes.
had an
So I
amazing
get my
time.
notes
Lovely.
sorted.
And,
All right.
and can I just say that I this is like a humongous dream for me to come here. I seriously loved being here, and I had the.
Are you going to
greatest
come
time.
back? You might
I
have
would
to
love
come back
I
to
would love
defend
to.
that against that man over there
And
at some point.
Dan has something for Nick that I brought for Nick actually, and this was.
Is it the win?
This is my gift to Nick because Nick is obviously one of the best people, and he loves The Rock. And I found that back home. It's a Dwayne The Rock Johnson action figure.
Well, look at that.
Entirely for my
he's
buddy.
And it looks like him. He gets money on that
Yeah.
every time they sell
He
it.
talks,
Good
too.
for him.
Hey, Snake Eyes. Time to take out the Cobra trash.
That's really,
Wow, now
that's really
The
him.
Rock was officially on Movie Fights. You guys have been asking. There he is.
Hey, check out this other one. Nick's a good guy.
All right. So thank you, everybody. As always, tell us in the comments below on YouTube what fight you'd like to see and who you'd like us to bring. Don't forget, next week, you've asked for it. They're coming. CinemaSins versus Honest Trailers is going to be a big, fun 2-on-2 battle, which we haven't done before. So get excited for that. iTunes, always subscribe to the new feed and the feed below, the link below, rather. T-shirt store, districtlines.com/screenjunkies. Plenty of fun new tees. Go check it out. And I'd like to thank our panelists. Pat Healy at Pat_Healy. Wow, it was very fun to have. I
Thank
hope
you,
you'll come
guys.
back.
It was a pleasure. I'd love to.
Anything you'd like to plug or anything you're doing?
I just want to say that I had a very successful campaign. Some people know about this, and I wish I had brought the shirt, but I went in the hole a little bit promoting my own movie, Cheap Thrills, last year, which is a great movie.
Great,
if you haven't
great
seen
movie.
it.
Amazing. One of my favorite movies from last year.
I can't wait to watch it.
An artist did these hand-painted shirts, the design of my face from the end of the movie as sort of the guy who's beaten but can't be taken down. And I was able to, by selling the shirts, raise enough money to pay off my debt for that. And I thank my fans and my friends and everybody for that. And now we have these sort of mass-produced versions of the shirts, which are really nice quality shirts. And
Where do we get it?
You get them at Cheap Thrills Tees, Tees, at gmail.com via PayPal. You drop $15 if you're in America, 30 or 25, 30 outside the United States, tees.com. And the money now, since I'm out of the hole, is going to a family in need.
Love it. Please, please, please go
Buy
support
the
Pat
pictures
go
and send us
check
the
it out.
pictures.
I will.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank
It's an
you.
honor. We love you. We love your work, and I'm glad you made time for us.
Appreciate it.
Likewise, I'm a huge fan of you. We're so honored you came here. Chris Stuckmann.
Thank you, man.
At Chris_Stuckmann. What do you tell us about your channel? Where can people find you?
I love film. These guys are big inspirations to me. I love what you guys do on your channel. I'm just feel privileged to be here. You go to Chris Stuckmann at YouTube. You got 2 N's. It's German, and you can see me talk about movies and stuff.
Stuckmann.
So.
Yeah, he's a very smart voice. We support it. Go please check it out
you.
and keep doing what you do. Nick Mundy
Absolute-
at Dick Fundy.
Absolute pleasure working with you guys. I'm a big fan, both of you guys.
Speaking of this guy, isn't like San Andreas coming up?
It
Do you
is.
think he'll let us
Interesting.
you think he'll let us like come to the junket and do something stupid with him again?
Thank you guys for all your support. Seriously, you're helping my show out tremendously, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And don't be dicks about the Suicide Squad. I was joking. Like don't be
Don't
dicks.
believe you this
And
time.
we'll all go see that movie.
Just
soon.
saving
course.
face. We all will. I'm
We're
actually
all gonna
excited
go
for that
see
movie.
it. Yeah.
Just wish they looked less
At
stupid.
Murrell Dan Murrell on the Dan Cam. Anything you need to plug?
No,
Dan bought one of the shirts.
Dan bought a
I
shirt.
did. Pat personally dropped it. I should have worn it today, Pat. I forgot.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
what the hell, Dan?
We
Will
could have
know.
shown it to people, but that's all right.
Good
you
job.
wear it
Dan.
next
Good
week?
egg, Aunt.
Or
Yeah, I can
wear it next week. How about
There
that?
you go.
We'll get 2 plugs
Great.
for you.
Thank you.
And then please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Andy Signore. Love all the support and fan questions and mean things sometimes you say. It's all good. Love it. Keep it all coming. We can't do the show without you guys, so thanks so much. Please tune in next week. Have a great Sunday. Go call your moms and stuff.
Seriously, call your moms before the show starts.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.